you the story of Davy Crockett, and we'll kind of discuss the vocab as we go. Make sure you can see the story. Have you ever heard of Davy Crockett? He was a great hero and a brave man. He was born in the hills of Tennessee in 1786. He had 5 brothers and 3 sisters. They lived in a cabin made of logs from trees that had been chopped down, and the house only had 2 rooms. Their bathroom was outside. It was called an outhouse. Davy's shirt, pants, and shoes were all made from a deer. It was called buckskin. And his favorite hat was made of a raccoon. It was called a coonskin cap. Davy grew up learning to hunt at a very young age. His family needed him to help bring food home to eat. When Davy was old enough, he was able to have a gun. He named his gun Old Betsy. It was a long rifle, and it was about 6 feet long. When Davy was 13 years old, his dad wanted him to go to school to learn to read and write. But Davy only went 4 days. There was a bully at his school that was older than he was, and the boy jumped on him and beat him up. So Davy didn't want to go back to school. His dad wanted him to go back, and he spanked him with a hickory switch. Davy ran away. Davy had to work very hard so that he could eat and have a place to live. It wasn't easy being away from his mom and dad. One day he returned home, and everyone was glad to see him. When Davy grew up, he was one of the best hunters around. When he was nearly 20 years old, Davy got married and had a family. In 1813, he had to go fight the Indians in the War of 1812. His men were starving, and Davy went hunting and got all his men something to eat. Some years later, Davy went to Congress to make sure that Tennessee got to have a say in the government. He was what's called a representative because he represented the people in his state. In October of 1835, when Davy was 49 years old, he decided to go to Texas. Texas did not belong to the United States at that time. It belonged to Mexico. But Texas wanted to be free. So Davy and his men decided to help Texas. They went to a place in San Antonio called the Alamo, and there they went against Santa Anna, who was the one in charge of Mexico's army. Things looked very bad for those in the Alamo, and they were given a chance to run away. But Davy and his men decided to stay no matter what. They were killed there in the Alamo, but because of them, Texas became free. Texans will never forget the Alamo and those brave